storm brings more than a foot of snow to New England and leaves hundreds of thousands without power.
It's definitely time to get a generator.
Well, about living in Maine's all about.
The solar eclipse is now just 3 days away, and it looks like weather will play a huge role in your ability to see it. We'll also have tips on how to get the best shots with your phone.
It can attach right over your camera lens.
How to make sure your glasses are official.
Even if it's cloudy, you still want to use this if you're looking up towards the sun.
And the difference between this eclipse and the one 7 years ago.
The moon is actually a bit closer. The path of totality is wider.
And it's looking like this year's hurricane season could be one for the record books.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Jordan Evans. The snow is finally pulling away from New England this morning, but the impact of the storm will be felt for much longer. More than 20 inches of snow fell in some parts of Maine, but the bigger story is the power situation. More than 250,000 homes and businesses are without power, and restoration will take multiple days. We have two reports this morning, starting with Brad Rogers and communities where no one has power.
Buxton and Hollis, Leamington and Limerick, Waterboro and Chapley. All towns where every CMP customer lost power from downed trees and power lines. And in nearby Hollis, firefighters have gone out on dozens of calls, many caused by downed trees blocking roads. A number of businesses are closed along Route 202. It means more customers, though, for stores with generators that can open.
Oh, it's been really busy.
We lost power and we typically don't get it back for quite some time, so I'm walking to my mom's house.
With a bag of clothes in hand, Denise was ready to go. The Auburn resident decided to walk 2 miles all the way to Lewiston for some warmth and company. Just around the corner from her mother's home were Mainers braving the cold and clearing their driveways, and drivers avoiding debris in the street like this snowy branch. Here in Lewiston, we saw branches tangled in power lines. This Lewiston resident lives on Grove Street, one of nearly 150 folks in this neighborhood without power Thursday afternoon.
When it snows, you got to move it if you want to go somewhere. So it's what about living in Maine's all about.
Another thing living in Maine is all about: neighbors helping neighbors. Our crews found this truck driver helping a plow driver who slid into a ditch. After a few pulls, both were back on the road. The same storm system slammed New Hampshire as well. Crews are working 24/7 to restore power to thousands of customers. Ross Ketchke has more on the conditions.
Trees and power lines toppling under the weight of heavy snow and wind as a spring nor'easter hammers New Hampshire. Outages peaking at roughly 170,000 customers without power by midday. Hundreds of Eversource crews spread out throughout the state to clear down branches and repair wires. Their work all coordinated here in Manchester at the company's control center, where dozens of people are monitoring for outages.
You can hear it right now. That's one of the alarms indicating that something may have tripped on the system. The operators here have been trained to respond.
By morning, Eversource is expecting to have 1,200 line crews dispatched throughout the state. President of Operations Douglas Foley says the #1 priority is addressing outages that impact public safety, including blocked roads. From there, they'll work to repair damaged areas that will get the most customers back online.
We had the ice storm last weekend, so within a short period of time, many of our customers are impacted for the second time in a very short period. So be patient. We're not going to rest till the last customer is restored.
And check out these waves battering the Massachusetts shore in Scituate between Boston and Plymouth. Swells there measured between 10 and 15 feet. As you can see, the seawall is protecting several homes built right next to the water. The Ohio Valley has been inundated by floodwaters this week. Heavy rainfall during the storms sent the Ohio River over its banks. On Wheeling Island, nearly every home and business has been impacted by the water. Other cities in the region are preparing for what officials are calling a long-term flood event. Turning to Wisconsin now, which was slammed by a winter storm packing wet, heavy snow. It sent trees crashing down throughout the Green Bay area. The bulk of fallen trees and debris have already been cleared, but not everywhere. Meteorologist Christian Palacio has more.
Since the storm moved out Wednesday, crews and residents have been hard at work picking up what was left behind.
The night of the storm, our public works crew did a fantastic job of mobilizing, getting out pushing debris off of the roads, at least getting roads passable and safe for motorists. So now the job is to kind of follow up and do the additional cleanup.
Tim Balknet is the forester for the Village of Ashwaubenon Department of Parks, Recreation, and Forestry. Sherwood Forest on Shady Lane was one of the parks hit especially hard.
We've got a segment of trail here that is about a quarter mile long that the damage was so significant and severe that we just decided to temporarily close the trail until we can get some more crews in here next week and hopefully get it cleaned up.
Balknet says if temperatures continue to cool down instead of warm up, damage could have been a lot worse. Even so, the damage was still impressive.
Mostly attributed to the heavy snow, ice, and the high winds. I don't know that anybody anticipated the amount of damage that we're seeing throughout Green Bay area and Brown County, but it's not unusual to have that type of damage.
Balknet says everything should be cleaned up within a few weeks.
Winter is also still alive out west. A storm brought snow to the California mountains. The unexpected turn in weather was a surprise for folks in the area. Dustin Dorsey has their reaction.
Look at the perfect South Bay spring break trip. No, not a drive over the mountain to the beach. We took a drive up Mount Hamilton to the snow, and we weren't alone.
This beautiful snow. This is San Jose. It's nice. So my kids just like it.
We found Wilmer Hernandez and his sons enjoying the snow. It's a rare sight for many in San Jose, and they made the most of it.
It was really fun. We were throwing snowballs at each other.
On our drive up to the Lick Observatory, we passed by many others who took in the snowy April views. When it comes to snow in the South Bay, this is the spot.
I've been snowed on Memorial Day up here. So, well, we get snow pretty regular.
When we made it to the Observatory Visitor Center, we were shocked with what we saw. No one was there. While we were surprised, Lick Observatory Chief Mechanic Dan Espinoza had a different reaction.
Imagine 10 parking spaces and 1,000 cars. That's not an exaggeration. I've had people backed up, single file, 4 turns down.
But not today, and we later learned why. Just after we made the trek up, CHP closed the road due to driving safety concerns, meaning Aaron and his family were luckier than they even know.
You had fun though, right?
Yeah.
How much fun?
Like 100% fun.
And that's what it's all about.
People living in the Pacific Northwest are experiencing an unusual weather pattern right now. Theron Zahn explains what's going on.
An unusual weather pattern in the Northwest right now. Typically in Washington and Oregon, the weather systems come off the Pacific from the west, hit the Cascade Mountains and create rain and snow. But you can see on this radar image, look at that rotation there. Notice the showers and snow are actually coming from the east and southeast. This is all because of an area of low pressure off the coast of Oregon and California. This low is going to sink down into California and eventually dissipate. But until then, people in Seattle and Portland will be getting their weather systems mainly from the east as opposed to the west.
Well, if early predictions are correct, this year's Atlantic hurricane season may be the busiest on record. The first forecast from Colorado State University includes the most hurricanes ever predicted from April. They are calling for 23 named storms, 11 of which could be hurricanes, and 5 of those major hurricanes, meaning Category 3 or larger. That's much more than the average of 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major. If this prediction plays out, all of the names for tropical systems would be used, as well as a supplemental list of names. Forecasters noted that due to La Nina on the way out later this year, a climate pattern, or La Nina starting, I should say, a climate pattern that favors tropical activity, as well as record warm Atlantic temperatures. Check this out, 70s and 80s already in the zone for where tropical systems develop. Now, it's important to remember that all named storms will not make landfall, but it only takes one storm for the season to go down in history. Last year, Idalia was the only hurricane to make landfall in the United States. Coming up on the National Weather Desk, everything you need to get ready for Monday's total solar eclipse, from the weather forecast to how to make sure to have the proper eye protection. We'll look at how this year's eclipse is also different from the one in 2017. And as we head to break, let's look back at the views from the eclipse in 2017.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. Here's our storm system that's been plaguing the Northeast over the last 24 to 36 hours, and it is slowly starting to make its way off to the east. This is a very slow mover. We still have rain and snow showers out there today. Notice a lot of clouds. This is 1 o'clock in the afternoon. There's still a bit of a breeze, and that's going to be true on Saturday as well. Notice that circulation just still hanging out in the Gulf of Maine. More rain and snow showers are likely Saturday, and the sun is going to try to poke out on Sunday.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Bailey. Here's a look at the mid-Atlantic region. Friday starts out dry and will be on the chilly side. We'll see some scattered showers back up in the future radar here, but it doesn't look like they'll be quite to the degree that we saw on Thursday. A few spotty showers is all we're talking about, and they'll be very short-lived. Looks like Saturday we're drying out. It's going to slowly warm up. We'll hit the mid-50s this afternoon as we head into Saturday, still closing on the mid-50s. Looks like by Sunday we're back up near 60.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your southeast forecast highs for the day. It looks like we're seeing Nashville at 57 degrees, Raleigh 62, Charleston 67 degrees. It's about 74 in Jacksonville, Mobile at 77, and we're looking at the mid-upper 70s across parts of Florida. We do have a few high thin clouds over parts of Kentucky, wrapping around on an area of low pressure that's still persistent up there in parts of Ohio and parts of Canada. But we're seeing plenty of sunshine throughout the day through the southeast. Nice dry conditions for the next few days.
Welcome back to the National Weather Desk. With just 3 days until Monday's total solar eclipse, the question on everyone's mind is, will the weather cooperate and allow for clear viewing? Let's take an in-depth look at the path of totality. Let's start in the south, where totality begins just before 1:30 Central Time. Unfortunately, clouds will likely be in place in Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, along with a chance for severe weather in North Texas, according to the Storm Prediction Center. There could be partially clear skies from southern Missouri into central Indiana. Cloud cover is still possible, however, for portions of Ohio. That's also the case in western New York, so as of today, the best area for clear viewing is most likely upstate New York and northern New England. Now we turn to meteorologist Christian Bridges on what makes solar eclipses so rare.
Well, a total solar eclipse like the one coming up on April 8th is a pretty rare event, especially at any given point on the Earth's surface. So why is that the case? Did you know if we change just a couple factors on our planet, we could see a total solar eclipse every single month? This is a view of the moon, the Earth, and the sun as it's typically laid out in our solar system. You'll notice the moon's orbit around the Earth has a little bit of a tilt to it. It's about 5 degrees, but that tilt is enough to make the Earth miss the moon's shadow pretty much every month. The shadow either goes to the left side of Earth, the right side, above Earth, or below it, not intersecting with Earth itself. That's why a solar eclipse is pretty rare. That lineup where we do see the shadow of the moon hitting the Earth's surface only happens about every 18 months. So just that little tilt keeps us from seeing a solar eclipse every month. Also, what has an impact on us seeing a total eclipse every month is where the moon is in its orbit. The moon's orbit around the Earth is not a perfect circle. It's a little bit elliptical. It has a far point and a close point. That close point in its orbit to the Earth is called perigee. The far point is called apogee. Now, we can see solar eclipses at both perigee and apogee, but a total eclipse where the sun is completely covered can only happen at perigee. At apogee, when the sun, or the moon I should say, is further away from the Earth, it cannot fully cover the sun's disk. So this is what results. You can see a ring of the sun left around the moon.
Monday will be the first solar eclipse for the U.S. since 2017. Meteorologist Veronica Johnson spoke to a heliophysicist from NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center about what makes this year's eclipse different from the last one and why the views could be even better.
Well, a couple of things. So some of the sort of basic things that make it different is the moon is actually a bit closer because it doesn't orbit in a circle. It actually orbits in kind of a football shape. And what that means is the path of totality is wider and the length of totality inside that path is longer. Now, it depends on whether you're at the middle or as you move farther out, it goes down. But the longest in 2017 was about 2 minutes and 38 seconds. The longest in this one is going to be 4 minutes and 28 seconds. Well, one of the things that's different is where it's actually going across the United States. So the one in 2017 covered a lot of land that was not populated. A lot of mountains and areas out in the west, which were pretty vast open areas. But the one this year is going to start in Texas, and it covers a lot of major cities. You know, we go up through near San Antonio and Austin and Dallas, Fort Worth, Hot Springs, Arkansas, Indianapolis. I mean, all of these major cities, Buffalo, are experiencing it. So there's a lot more people.
Fredericksburg, Texas will have one of the longest periods of totality in the U.S. for the eclipse. Even with the expected cloud cover, it is still a top destination for people traveling for the event. Betty Cross looks how the small town is preparing.
Fredericksburg really stands out in this eclipse because we are at the epicenter.
Christine Bobko knows that from where she's sitting, she'll be able to see the moon completely block the face of the sun for 4 minutes and 24 seconds. Eclipse chasers did the math a couple of years ago.
They're booking all of our hotels out, Airbnbs. This is a very, very big event for them, and they are coming to the place that is going to have the longest length of totality, and that is us.
Blake is more impressed with breakfast than day turning to night around 1:30 in the afternoon on April 8th. The Winery is one of many Hill Country wineries hosting day-long watch parties. It will be the first time the star power of this 4,000-pound white rhino is eclipsed by the sun and the moon.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime event.
David Bradbury is the sommelier at the Winery. He may need a glass of wine if Central Texas and the Hill Country get the predicted tidal wave of tourism. Fredericksburg officials are predicting that Monday, more visitors will roll in on Highway 290 than ever before on a single day.
On a normal, busy, heavy weekend in Fredericksburg, we could see around 30,000, but right now we're expecting close to 100,000 people to come to Fredericksburg on April 8th.
One factor we can't stress enough is to make sure you have proper eye protection if you plan to view the eclipse. But how do you know if the glasses you have are official? CJ Macklin sat down with an optometrist to find out.
It's a question thousands are asking as solar eclipse day approaches. Where can you find solar eclipse glasses? But even more important is to make sure you are wearing these glasses if you plan to be outside during the eclipse.
They are absolutely critical. I've got my glasses on right now. I cannot see you. I cannot see the bright studio lights. The only light that comes through these glasses is a dim version of the light from the sun. That becomes a safe way to enjoy the sun. You should never look directly at the sun. Even if you have really great fancy sunglasses that you got for your birthday, they're not going to cut it. You need these safe viewing glasses.
What makes these kind of unique is that they have specific UV protection that our normal sunglasses don't have. So if you look in the label, they're ISO protected, and any type of glasses that you look for the ISO 12312-2 filter.
That's how you can verify that the glasses you are planning to wear will protect you from the rays that come from the solar eclipse. ISO means those glasses are regulated for this type of event, offering 99.9% protection.
Even if it's cloudy, you still want to use this if you're looking up towards the sun. This is going to be an astronomical event. You want to look at the sun, so you want to do so safely.
And of course, you'll want to get some photos of the event. Meteorologist Chicago Windler has some tips on getting the best shots with your cell phone.
The April 8th eclipse is coming up, and obviously you want to enjoy it in person, but you also want to be able to share it with people on your phone, right? Here are some suggestions. Number one, you need to wear Eclipse glasses, but you could actually also put them over your phone. Trust me, it's a little clumsy. Do not recommend. Number two, this is something called Solar Snap. It's got a little Velcro tab. It can attach right over your camera lens, but you'll still be wearing Eclipse glasses, so it can still be a little bit tricky to get in focus. Here's my suggestion. I'm using something called Safe Shot. Not only does it have an area for your smartphone, but it also has a spot for your eyes only, so you can hold it up to the sun and look safely through the part that says safe for eyes while your phone is getting video or photos of the eclipse.
And we'll have 3 hours of live coverage as we track the eclipse from Texas to Maine on Monday from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You can watch it live on our YouTube channel. Just search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back.
Happy Friday, everyone. I'm meteorologist Phil Kelly. Well, that disturbance, that low that's been spending a lot of moisture in the Great Lakes, finally moving off to the east. So most of us dealing with a lot of sunshine, some mild temperatures as well. In Lincoln today, 68, 60 in Des Moines, and we'll start to see our next system slowly move into the Central Plains as we get into the weekend. Better chance of seeing a better coverage of that rain late in the day on Sunday, but mild temperatures for the weekend.
I'm meteorologist Siobhan Anders. It's actually been a beautiful evening, and now we're starting out to have a gorgeous day. It's going to be a beautiful Friday, so get ready. We're definitely seeing some cool temperatures early morning, but then as we go through your Friday afternoon, lots of sunshine, some mild temperatures. We're getting up to about the mid-80s to close to 90 down to the southwest. So very mild temperatures and clear sunny skies are in the forecast. Enjoy it. We do have some changes coming. Looks like clouds are on the way for the weekend.
TGIF, everybody. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. Out west, we're a lot warmer than our friends have been out east, that's for sure. No snow showers here around Seattle and Portland, but the rain showers at least are lifting, and that'll help us warm up in Puget Sound, mid-50s later today. You see only 41 in Reno. That's because that system that was keeping things cooler in the PNW is now moving to the southwest, and it will take some of the scattered showers with it, including more snow for the Sierra. And that's the scene from here.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
We have shown you what is happening in space when the eclipse takes place and what you can see, or what you can expect to see down here on Earth. But let's take a look at a demonstration meteorologist Will Haney posted on TikTok using a Comet household item.
Hey there, we're going to give you a quick explanation of what to expect in the eclipse, but in the dark. No, we're not telling ghost stories, but we are going to explain the eclipse using this flashlight in this dark room here at News Channel 3. All right, so I have a little piece of cardboard in my hand. What we're expecting in West Michigan is about 95% totality. So the moon starts to cover up that sun to about 95%. Now what you'll notice is that you can still see me, right? There's still a little bit of light. So that sky, it's gonna almost look like twilight, almost like dusk, but we are not gonna go to total darkness. You compare that to totality and yeah, the sky turns to night, and totality is really a night and day difference, quite literally.
We have more content like this posted on social media. You can find us on all of your favorite platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Just search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back. Thank you for joining us. A reminder again about our 3 hours of live coverage of the eclipse on Monday. Check your local listings for where to watch in your area, or you can watch it live on our YouTube channel. I'm meteorologist Jordan Evans. Make it a great Friday and have a great weekend.